Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for The Shy. So, on this episode, it started where I left off, and Kevin was still at that trap house, did not care that that gun was on him, and he was persistent, and he was like, I ain't going nowhere without my sister. So, it got to a point where Jacob realized that he was not going to get anywhere with that guy. They were not going to get on the inside. That man looking at them like, man, these kids, I'll blow their heads off and keep on walking. Oh, well, whatever. And so Jacob was like, man, come on, let's go. So he was like, I ain't going nowhere without my sister. He was like, man, come on, let's go. So they end up leaving on their bikes. Old boy even felt like he had a lot of heart because he stood up there and did what he did. Like, he didn't even flinch. Apparently, he's had guns pulled on him before, so he didn't even care. Unless he was just saying that in the moment, it don't matter. I feel like that adrenaline kicked in, and he was just like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And so, yeah, he was there. He was really not finna be leaving without his sister. Like, he tried his best to do what he needed to do, but he came up empty-handed. So the next day, while it's actually light outside, his mama, the stepmama, Emmett, and Emmett's mama Jada, they all went over to the area where she last been seen at that bus stop and had been asking a lot of people, have they seen her? Everybody saying no. Everybody is very uninterested in what they talking about, to the point where flyers are trying to be given to them and they looking like, I don't even want the flyer. I don't want to pass none out to nobody. I don't want to do nothing. So anyway, the mama is walking down the street because she had actually walked up to this guy to ask him had he seen her, gave him a flyer, and tried to ask him that, you know, to take a handful of them and pass them out or whatever. And he wouldn't. He went on about his business, closed the gate. So she ended up putting a stack of them in between the gate. So she's walking off. And the woman who was the first woman that we saw whose young child was killed, that Coogie was standing over that night when Ronnie saw him and automatically thought that he was the one who killed that woman's son, but wasn't. That woman appeared. And she was like, is this your daughter? And so she was like, yeah, do you know her? And she was like, no, I don't know her or whatever. And no, I haven't seen her. And so she was like, look, I have this group that I created, that I came up with, and it's for mothers who have lost their children. And so she was like, you know, if you feel up to it, I'd like for you to come. I would love to try to do something for you because I'm sure the police aren't doing much of anything for your case. So Jacob and Kevin, they go to school together. Doodah pulls some strings, Doodah meaning Otis Perry. Doodah ended up pulling some strings in order to get Jacob into that school, because y'all already know he don't do his work. Whether or not he actually has the knowledge or not, he doesn't apply himself, and he's more about that street life than anything else at this point. And all the stuff that has happened to him in recent months, he ain't trying to really hear nobody talk about no school like that. But like I said, Doodah pulled some strings and got him into that same school that Kevin is in. Kevin is smart, and he's in there because he actually has the smarts. So they end up slipping out, and they run and they get into the back of Trigg's vehicle. So Trigg and his girlfriend, I think, is her name Imani on here? Her name in real life is Jasmine Davis, but her name is Imani, I think. It started with an I. I could be wrong. But anyway, y'all. And he wants to know, you know, what they want. And so he was like, look, I need your help. And so he's like, okay, what you need my help with? He explains the situation. And he looking at him like, I don't understand what they got to do with me. He ain't my family. She ain't my family. Why am I supposed to care? So the girlfriend is just not here for none of this. She already been tired of her spirit as of late anyway, because he showed his true colors when they were at that bar the other night anyway. So he was just like, look, I really need to find my sister. I think she might be over here at this trap house. And the dude that she's dating, the new dude she's dating, they call him Nook or something like that. Like, I guess Knucklehead, short for Knucklehead. I don't know. Or Knuckles. I don't know. But, so he already was like, look, I don't know what you want me to do. Because if I go over there without a reason, they're going to blow my head off. And it's crazy because Trig was speaking the way that he would normally speak to any random person on the street. So he started going back and forth with Kevin, and he called Kevin the N-word. And then it just got to the point where Kevin was like, don't call me no N. And so that kind of shut him up like, oh, okay, I could tell he's serious. And so eventually they were like, okay, well, what she look like? You got a picture of what she looked like? He went in his book bag and he got the flyer out, and we actually were able to see him take the flyer, and he gave it to his girlfriend. And so he was like, give me 24 hours. So he gonna try to make it seem like he can make something shake within 24 hours. If not, he'll let them know what it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be. So we then see Emmett and the girlfriend, baby mama, or whatever she is to him, because I don't even understand, walking. And their plan is to ask his mama, Jada, if they can stay at her house for like 2 months. And if all else fails and she says no, or they feel like it's going in the direction of no, they're gonna like dangle the baby in her face. Y'all, it goes south, because she was just like, don't even try to use that baby as bait. And eventually he was just like, look, Mom, I'm trying to get my business off the ground. I'm trying to do what I need to do. And so she was like, you should have came in here leading with that. Like, don't come up in here making up no lies and making up stupid excuses and stupid stuff and trying to use the baby. And so she was like, y'all can stay. I have rules. And to me, it wasn't no out of the way rules. All she was like, don't be up early in the morning making all kinds of noise. I have to get my beauty rest. I got to go to work. I have things I have to do. Like, she just gave them super simple rules when they're nothing out the way. Can't be selling drugs out the house. Clean up after yourselves. Very, very simple and doable things. So whatever. So they're allowed to stay there. So she was like, well, if I had said no, what was y'all going to do? Because he had told her, because she was like, okay, so when y'all trying to move in? So he was like, well, my friend, he already got all our stuff on the truck. So she was like, well, if I had said no, then what was y'all going to do? And so old girl was like, we was just going to be homeless. So yeah. Anyway, Keisha's mamas are sitting down and talking with the woman who Ronnie used to date, who Ronnie considered that boy who got killed to be his son as well. And she's explaining to her what's going on, and she's just like, look, you know the police ain't gonna do nothing, so just let us try to help y'all. We are somewhat like an army, and I'm pretty sure we will be able to get more than the police would get done. So she's trying to be open to it. Everybody's trying to be open to it, y'all. Y'all, Ronnie is set up here collecting more cans. He went back to that place. I don't understand why the thirst is real, but this heifer sat up here and did the most. She was trying to give out sympathy sex to him, and he, being the bum that he is, was even like, I appreciate it, but that's even worse. Yeah, because I wouldn't want nobody to give me no pity sex. Like, what you mean? Like, the heifer really was like, I already know you homeless. I already know you a bum, just trying to give you some. Try to lift your spirits. And he was like, that's even worse. I don't want no pity sex. Y'all, anyway. So Jacob and Kevin go back into school, and they are in their French class watching some French movie. They're talking, and, you know, they're looking at, you know, of course, Kevin is in his feelings about his sister, and he's like really antsy and wants to know what the update is. So he was like, man, I don't know what's going on. I'll let you know. So he ends up seeing, both of them they see this little cute black girl that's in the room, and, you know, the teacher see them talking, and she paused the movie and was like, Kevin, since you have so much to say, tell me what's going on in this movie. And he ended up, of course, giving her the complete and utter wrong answer. And then she asked the class if anybody knows what's going on. And the little black girl raised her hand, and she had the right answer and all that good stuff. Y'all, after class was over, she rolled up on both of them, went off, because she just looking like, look, we are the few black faces in this school. Do not sit up here and act a fool, because what you do reflects back on me, even though I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Because they ain't doing nothing but looking at us like we black and y'all black, and it's a problem because y'all black and y'all see what's going on in real life. So they looking at them like we black, and they don't even really want y'all here. And since we are not in the positions to be the ones who can change it, to where there are more black faces in here, then you need to do what you need to do and do what we gotta do so we can get through this and get where we want to be. Thanks. And when she was done, she rolled up on Kevin and was like, because you're a king. I was like, ma'am, you can tell that she liked him too. And while Kevin was talking about how beautiful, pretty, and all these positive things she was, Jacob was in the background saying that she was a bee at the same time. All because she ain't here for him. Y'all, so anyway, Jada is at work. And she's talking to this girl, and her mama or grandma or whatever she is in the room with her. And, you know, she was like, look, she's healthy enough to where she could be on birth control or whatever. So she notices the girl is like, because she saw the little flyer that was on the wall of Keisha. And so she looked and she was like, oh, so do you know her? And so she was like, yeah, we used to date the same dude or whatever. And it's like, ain't nobody here for her. I don't know what it is. It's like, it seems like all the dudes who wanted Keisha, they kind of upgraded when they ended up being with her. They left them to be with her or whatever the situation is, and everybody in their feelings. So, you know, she of course was asking her if she knew anything about where she might be and all this other stuff, and she was like, no. And so she was like, well, if you think of anything, let me know. So while they in the middle of talking, one of her male co-workers walks in, didn't knock or nothing. So I was like, who walking in a room? Why are you walking into an examination room without knocking? So I was already tired. So she ended up going on her break, and old boy was already in there on his phone. And so she went over to a whole nother table. And so she got up, read him, and went on back about her business. And so he was like, well, I'm sorry for doing what I did. And, you know, at first he was like, well, I don't understand what the big deal is. And so she was like, because she could have been getting undressed for all you know. So he was like, well, okay, well, can I just make it up to you by taking you out for a drink? And so she was like, I ain't trying to date nobody. So he was like, I don't even know you like that. You know what I'm saying? We got to become friends or something first or whatever. But, you know, I just want to do this as a I'm sorry or whatever. So she was like, I guess. So I already know this is going to turn into something, whether it's a sex situation, a couple of dates situation or whatever. But she was already pretty vocal about not wanting to date anybody she works with. And that's smart. Y'all. The late night situation is happening. Emmett has customers that are gonna be coming in sooner than later, and Dominique, Domo, or whatever she want to call herself, Lala's character done rolled up, and she was like, yeah, let me get a 2-piece or whatever it was she asked for, right? And Emmett was looking in the back like, okay, what's she doing here? Because we already know his food ain't hitting on nothing, nowhere compared to what she can do. And so they had samples out there. She tasted them. And so she was like, well, what do you marinate your chicken in? And he basically was like, ain't nothing wrong with my chicken. I don't do nothing to my chicken. Everybody like my chicken. And so she was like, well, if you marinated your chicken in buttermilk, it would be very moist and tender. And I mean, I'm not trying to say it's bad or anything. It would be a whole lot better. Oh, Lord, why she say that? He is an older man who has been doing things the way he's want to do them for forever. A lot of the times, you're not going to get them to change. It's to the point where if Chef Gordon Ramsay walked in there right now, he would have got red. So it's like, girl, what makes you think you can roll up on him and say that? So he ends up pulling Emmett to the side, was like, yeah, I know that's one of your little friends. You better get her on the why y'all always think everything need to change. Everything don't need to change. So he ended up rolling up on her and was like, what you doing here? And so she was like, I'm just asking a question. I just want to see what it's like in the daytime, what the chicken tastes like in the daytime. And so he was like, man, you ain't got to do all that. And, you know, don't come here before 9 o'clock. So I guess like the store closes up at a certain time and then they clean up, and the old guy, he ends up going home. And I'm just like, he don't never think to, you know, just roll up. I think one day eventually he gonna roll up and see the situation go down. So we gonna see. Y'all, Trig and the girlfriend have rolled up on the people at the trap house. And they had to pull the guns out on him. The girlfriend, he tried to tell her to stay in the car. She was like, yeah, I ain't staying in the car. I'm your bodyguard. So they ended up rolling up on old dude with the cereal box. And he tried to lie and say old boy wasn't there. And so They pulled the guns out on him and all this other stuff. He ended up calling for the guy. So he was like, what you want? And so it was like, we looking for somebody. They ended up going through every single last room. And it's like, I don't even want to say sex trafficking. It's like, y'all, I don't know why I lost I don't even know why I lost it. It's like, y'all know what I'm trying to say. All this sex was going on. It's like a brothel of sorts, but in the hood, in a trap house going down. And it's like a lot of girls who just feel like that's just what their destiny is supposed to be. And I'm just like, oh no. I'm talking about they was having all kinds of random sex. Like, you could tell the girls were hurting, the dudes was doing the most. I was like, oh no, y'all was doing the most. It was to the point where there were some dudes so aggressive in there that you couldn't even tell if Keisha was in one of the rooms. So they going upside people's heads and all this other stuff, interrupting the sex situations. And, you know, they went through all the rooms. She wasn't in there. All right. So I'm just like, Lord, where is this child at? Y'all, so the mamas end up going to the little support group, and wasn't nobody here for it. Most of the people didn't hear about the daughter before, and the ones that did was reading her, because apparently there is this like parent-free version of Instagram that children can go on and they can upload racy pictures and videos, whether they are naked or half naked or whatever, that their parents would know nothing about. That woman was reading her, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, it's just a bad situation all the way around. So the woman had to sit up there and like calm everybody down, because that's how bad it was. I mean, they was really attacking her. Y'all, anyway, the actual chicken joint has shut down for the day for regular hours of operation, and now, you know, Emmett's business has come into play. There's this football coach who done came in and he requested all kinds of stuff. Lala, y'all already know she the only one back there cooking, so she tired of her spirit and was like, if this is gonna be a regular thing, I'm gonna need backup. So he was like, I can't afford nobody to help you. And so she was like, well, you're gonna have to do something, because I can make some magic happen tonight, but this ain't gonna be no regular thing. You better do what you gotta do. Y'all, somebody that hemmed up Ronnie, a group of people hemmed him up. I don't know what's going on, but a group of people that hemmed him up. And he was in the middle of getting beat to a pulp. It was like the beginning stages. Like, he might have gotten killed had it not been for him running and falling in front of Papa's daddy's church. I already told y'all earlier that Papa is a preacher's kid. And so when he unballs himself because he sat up there and shooed the people away, Papa see him bring him in, and he was like, you know what it is, don't you? He was like, nah, who? He was like, that's the man who killed Coogie. And he was like, all I see is a child of God. I was like, oh Lord. Y'all, I forgot how his daddy is. I get it, but I can't. So anyway, y'all, Emmett went over to Keisha Num's house when he got off work. And, after he got off his second job, you might as well say, to bring over some food, because Sonny, his boss, did tell him to bring over a plate or some food, leftover food, wrap up some food for them and take it over to them or whatever. But what he did do was wrap up some food from where Dominique cooked. And so Dre tasted it, was like, oh, wait a minute, this come from Sonny? Sonny made this? And so he was like, something like that. They went on about their business. So Dre takes it upon herself while she's alone with him to ask him, is there anything you want to tell us? They were telling us at this little meeting that we were at today that some people saw this inappropriate site that some of the kids are on. And so he kind of was looking around like, so she was like, man, look, you can be real with me. I don't care what's on there. If it's something that can help us to find her, just tell me if you've seen it before. So he was like, no, man, I ain't never seen nothing like that or whatever. Because I think they cool. They like friends or whatever. They was friends before, like, they got together like that and got married, of course. So since he didn't want to come up with no information, she was like, well, if you want to see Kevin, he in his room. Y'all, Kevin was in his room choking the chicken. And I was like, no, don't do it. I'm like, why is nobody knocking? So he didn't knock on the door, and he walked in, and even though nothing was out, he was under his cover, you could tell what was going on. He had some little young girl's profile or something up. I think the girl that he go to school with, one of the other girls in the hood that he, invited over that time. I don't know. But he had a picture of some girl and he was choking the chicken and he walked in on him and he was just like, whoa, yeah, you finished what you're doing and I'll see you another day. And he left out and Dre was like, you finished already? He was like, yeah, I'm just gonna catch him another day. Y'all, I was tired of my spirit. So anyway, Ronnie is at the church and he's talking to the pastor and, I'm just like, ugh, whatever, I'm tired of my spirit. Y'all, Jada tired of her spirit too because she has now been awakened by her child and one of her baby's mamas, which is the heifer, I guess her name is Tiffany, that's living there with her. And she already told them one of her rules is do not wake her up, do not be loud, making loud noises or nothing early in the morning because she's trying to get her beauty rest. Well, she had to go upstairs because they would not stop. They were going back and forth because she said that he promised that he was going to take their child to daycare. He said, I'm tired. I just came in from work. I ain't doing it, whatever. It got to the point where his mom was like, look, I'll take him. And so she was like, see, that's what I'm talking about. So she was like, what's the problem now? She was like, that's the problem. Whenever there's a problem that needs to be solved, that he needs to fix, you come in, you swoop in and you fix it for him. And I feel like that's why he ain't never manned up. He ain't never did nothing he was supposed to do. He never follows through on anything because somebody else is always fixing it for him, namely her. And so I'm like, well, she is right. But yeah, y'all, it was a mess. Y'all, after everything got squared away, he had a one-on-one with his mama. And his mama was like, look, I know you. I've seen you before. You have been on that website that they were talking about. I know that you have seen them. I know you've seen Keisha on there, so I don't care what you're talking about. I saw you looking at pictures of Keisha before. So you need to go ahead and cough up all the codes and everything else so I can go and take that over to her their mama and them. He gonna try to play it off, and she was just like, I don't care what you're talking about. You need to do that. I can list these demands. You live in my house. You're gonna do what I tell you to do. So after, she did have the upper hand because they tried her literally the next day. Like, do what I say, or I can threaten to, kick y'all out and just keep the baby. But yeah, he ended up coughing up the codes and stuff to that website. And before she went to work, she ended up going over to their house and dropped off the information to her mamas. Y'all, the absolute most started happening. They got the information, they logged into everything, right? So her mama saw it. So she in her feelings. She was like, what would make her do this? I don't understand why Keisha would do this. And so she was just like, well, some people don't feel like they're getting enough attention. She's a young girl or whatever. Her mom in her feelings and was like, I give her plenty of attention. What you mean? I'm her mother. I give her plenty of attention. I love her. Dre is trying to explain to her something that to me should be very, very common knowledge. But she's not listening to reason in this moment. And instead of her saying, okay, let me see how I can use this as a tool to hopefully help us to find her, she's taking this opportunity to get at her and try her and argue with her and say, that's my child. That's mine. I'm just like, Lord, don't do it. And so she was like, oh, see, this is why I didn't want to go. So, and she in her feelings now because they've gone to the little meeting and all this other stuff. And those women said what they said about her daughter. And so she was just like, see, that's exactly why I didn't want to go to that meeting. I knew this day was coming. I knew this day was coming when you was going to say something like this. So Dre in her feelings and she leave the house. And I'm just like, why would you do this? Y'all, so she done left the house, right? And so she's still scrolling through and she sees the day that she is obviously still in the dress that she wore to the wedding. So she's talking to people. She was like, hey, y'all, I just wanted to come on here real quick because I'm cute. I'm a little turned because I just, got a hold to a unattended bottle of wine. But, I'm going to get married someday. And when I get married, I ain't inviting nobody. I'm just going to get married because all people gonna do is talk about you behind your back anyway on the way home. I was like, oh my Lord, like she really went off. And it's I get why she would say what she said. So, her mama in her feelings and I'm like, girl, your wife just left. And she mad because she really is trying to be there for you. And she lives for the kids too. So come on now. You have kids. A lot of people ain't trying to hear that. And she is here for you. So anyway, Kevin ends up meeting up with Trig. Well, Kevin and, his brother, Trigg's brother, Jacob. They beat up with Trigg the next day. And so he's like, okay, well, did you find Keisha? What's going on? So he was like, nah, we went up in there, she wasn't there. And so he was like, no, we gotta go back over there. What you mean? And then he was like, no, we went through every room. We put guns on the people's heads. She wasn't in there. So I don't know what to tell you. Y'all, it's tied in their spirit. Real tied. And so he gonna tell him, well, you might as well go ahead and think that one of two situations have probably happened. A pimp probably got a hold of her or she dead. So Jacob was even tied. Like, Jacob is so tied in his spirit. He was like, man, I don't think she dead. And he was like, what make you think that? And he was like, I feel it. I can feel it. I don't think she dead. So I was like, okay then. Okay. Y'all, so anyway, Ronnie, I guess a whole day or however long has passed. And, you know, the night is gone and now it's daytime. The pastor is seeing him off with a bag of groceries. And so he and his feelings, he was like, I don't take no charity. I don't take handouts. And all this other crap. And he was like, look, I'm just doing the Christian thing. You don't have to see it as charity and all this other stuff. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So he was like, well, I left that alone a long time ago. I walked away from the church a long time ago. And so he was like, oh, okay, well, I understand that. I see what you're saying, but you know, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to force anything on you. I am somewhat of a tour guide. And he was like, I understand you've done things in the past, but you know, you can always come back. Y'all, Ronnie's grandmama is in a nursing home, and apparently she's losing her mind even more. She's still herself, the person that we used to see Jada taken care of. And she is in there trying to turn the TV on to watch her stories, but she can't because she's trying to turn the TV on with a cell phone. So he comes in and he's trying to explain to her that that's the situation. But he finally realizes that he's not going to get through to her. And he was like, well, maybe you need some more batteries. I'll get you some more batteries or whatever. So they start talking. She instantly don't know who he is and was like, you ain't my grandbaby. You ain't my grandson. You ain't Ronnie. You're a bum. Ronnie is a hero. And he was like, well, I used to be one. And then he took out the flyer. And he was like, I might be one again. So while he was digging through the trash cans before he went over to the place where the woman was, I can't. That woman in the cans, man. The woman with the cans. I cannot. So he was digging through the trash looking for some viable cans to take over to the place, cans and bottles or whatever. And he sees the flyer and he puts it in his pocket. So I'm really hoping that he does not have anything to do with her disappearance. I really hope that he has nothing to do with it because he's acting as if he's going to be determined to try to help them find her. Y'all, yeah, it gets to a point where she just becomes fearful of Ronnie being in the room, and he reaches over and puts the flyer on the table. I don't know if some kind of way she gonna be like, well, I saw her while I was outside doing something. I don't know. Any kind of strange thing can happen at this point. Anybody could have seen her at this point. I don't know. Because despite her mindset right now, anything could happen. I don't know. But anyway, he put that there and he left out because his grandmama is not how she used to be. And he definitely is a bum. I mean, she read him, but it was the truth. Y'all, anyway, Trigg is playing shooting dice in the house by himself, and the girlfriend come over and is talking to him and is in her feelings because of the women that she saw when she went in that house. She was like, I want to know how we can help them. He looking at her like, we can't help them. They lost. They where they supposed to be. That's just the end of it. We only supposed to have come back to get Jacob, and that's it. So she was like, I really feel like we need to do something. I saw myself in them. You know, that could have been me. And I saw her in that moment. When she was looking in that room, I was like, oh, Lord, has she been in this situation before? Or is she having a moment where she was like, dang, this could be me? And that's what, the latter is what it was for her. So she in her feelings. And so, like, she actually starts crying, like tears are coming down. She's really in her feelings. And she's just feeling hopeless because she's like, that's just too many women. And they just need somebody to help them. And a lot of them were basically feeling as if they were content in that state, and that's sad. Y'all, so he went over to her and he's trying to comfort her, and y'all, he ended up singing, or at least beginning to sing, the song that I love. It's a LTD song. Y'all don't understand? Y'all don't understand? Okay, wait a minute. I gotta get myself together. Hold on. Y'all, it's an LTD song that I live for. And when he hit the first note, I was like, y'all better not do this to me. Y'all better not, because even though I don't think he is all that look-wise, he is an amazing singer and he's an amazing actor to me. But he did the LTD song where he said, love, I never been so much in love before. But anyway, y'all know how I go. Am I even singing the right song? What a difference that true love made in my life. Oh, anyway, what is it? Loving you gave me something new that I've never felt, never dreamed of. Yeah, I live for that song. So for whatever reason, they had it where they were showing the two of them coming together. They showed Papa and old girl coming together, having their little moment. They actually showed Jada going out on her little date with old dude that she worked with. They showed Ronnie taking flowers that were in the bag that he had gotten from the pastor over and putting it on like the little dock setting where the heifer who was offering up the petty sex to him was at. Like everybody was doing the most in this moment, and I was just like, why? Anyway, they actually might end up screwing, and I'm tired. Y'all, they're supposed to be having a vigil for Keisha later on that night. And his mama comes in the room and was like, are you ready to go? And he was like, I'm not going. She tried to talk him into it. He said he ain't here for it. He just really don't want to go. So despite everything that is going on with Dre and Kevin's mama, she still showed up to the vigil because she still loves her. She loved the mama and she loved the kids. So old girl was like, that's your child too. Why don't you go up there with her? So she was like, nah, that's her child. That's why I'm back here. I'm gonna support her from back here. So a speech was made and Ronnie was there also. I was like, oh, y'all, I was tired in my spirit. So Ronnie was there. This suspicious looking random white man was over there, right? He had, he actually tried to blend in, but he kept looking suspicious, y'all. So anyway, it gets to a point where both of the mamas kind of reunite, and because she was like, if I hadn't had my wife Dre by my side, I wouldn't have been able to get through this. She's been holding my hand and been there with me this whole time. I have somebody laying next to me every night that's there for me. I need my child. My child ain't here. I would have gone crazy had it not been for her being here by my side. So she's making her speech and she's still talking. She calls Dre up there. Y'all, Ronnie sees this suspicious man and he looking like, okay, what's going on here? So he kind of try to ease over. An old dude sees him, noticing him, and he kind of eases on. And he's just like, nah. Kevin shows up, and, of course, he wants to see what's being said about his sister. Y'all, Ronnie, he feels so suspicious about this dude. So I don't know if we are supposed to believe that this guy is possibly the person who is taking this child or what, but he looks very suspicious. There were a few white people in the crowd, but that dude looked very, very suspicious. I don't know what was going on with him, but it just got to the point where Ronnie really ended up exiting the whole crowd trying to find this dude. The dude disappeared. And Ronnie looking like, no. And of course, watch this drunks. Watch this drunks. All this stuff about him, this drunkard. Watch, somehow he's going to be the one to crack the case. Somehow he's going to be the one who figured it out. I'm just like, really? But anyway, y'all, that's what happened on this episode. I was here for it. It was a very kind of heavy episode, but it's needed because of what's going on in this episode, in this season. Anyway, hopefully y'all have been having a wonderful weekend. I am going to try my best to at least get one of my other recaps up there because a lot has come back. A lot. Anyway, y'all have a good one and I'll see y'all later. Bye.